My parents were Robert T. and Marinelle R. Arnold, and they came to Mulberry, or to Florida really, in search of a place to own and operate a theater. My dad traveled the South selling stage equipment for high school auditoriums as part of the WPA program, Works Progress Administration. And he had traveled the South and he discovered he really liked Florida. And they wanted to live in Florida. Now they went to Naples first. And in Naples, they found a mosquito-infected village on the edge of the Everglades. So they chose Mulberry over Naples. In 1942, that's when they came, there were about 12 independent phosphate companies around Mulberry, and there was full employment. And around the downtown area, there were at least 50 small businesses. We had a bank, we had a hotel, we had 2 train stations, we had a bus station, Western Union, we had 2 doctor's offices, 2 drugstores, dry goods stores, restaurants, and so on. And of course, there was a furniture store. They started out in partnership with his cousin, Marvin Morris. Marvin and Jamela Morris. And they rented a space, Bank of Mulberry building. You can still see the old entrance to the theater there on the west side of that building. That's where they started. The loan was approved and construction was begun, and the building and business were completed in 1946, 1947. The loan was approved, and the materials for construction during the war years were enabled because the theaters showed newsreels with every movie. These newsreels showed the progress of the war, including scenes from the front lines. In addition to that, the purchase of war bonds was promoted at the theater. So the gym theaters in those years were, in effect, part of the overall war effort. And I remember those newsreels. I've always wanted to see newsreels. Mulberry was a very prosperous and vibrant community in those years. And in the early years, we filled it up. There were 2 main sources of competition. One was television. In the 1950s, everybody was getting TV, and the programming was very good. In addition to that, there was a new drive-in theater that opened on South Florida Avenue in Lakeland. So, by the late 50s, the older people were staying home watching TV, and the younger people were going to the drive-in for obvious reasons.
I had started here in 2012. I had only been here for a very short while, maybe a week or so, and our code enforcement officer, Bonnie Titus, approached me and talked about this theater, and it would be so shameful if it continued to deteriorate, and maybe we could figure out a way to get it. I approached the union local folks at that time, and they weren't particularly receptive. That was probably maybe early 2013. A couple of years went by. She came back to me again. I made another run at it. That didn't work. And then finally, we began to hear rumors that they were looking to demolish the building. And so we approached the union folks again about 2017 or 18, and they were more in favor of it. I had only been in here once before, but it looked like something that the city could definitely restore and get use out of and help revitalize the downtown. The elected officials, they seemed like they wanted to see what we could do with the property. And some of them had memories of being here many years ago as youths or as just when they had it open for special events. And they were on board, and we began, after we took possession of it, there was a huge hole in the roof right over there, and the water was just pouring in. So after we did take possession of it, we immediately put a roof on it to stop the damage, and then did a whole assessment. Structural engineers came in to look at it, make sure it was solid. And we began doing this piecemeal for about 2 years, and then finally decided that the CRA was robust and healthy, and that could make the payments if we borrowed the money locally. It had to be done here. There was asbestos floor tiles and things in the walls. There was some we always say rats, bats, and cats living in here, and there was a pretty bad insect infestation here between termites and roaches. And so we had to get all that cleaned up. We used ACT Environmental. They came in and with hazmat suits and cleaned everything up for us. That was a huge thing. And then being able to get people in here through ADA challenges and so on and so forth, and add additional bathrooms and so on. That was a big challenge. The design that the architects came up with looked like it was something that could work.
Mulberry has always been a community supposedly on the verge of opening up, developing. Again, since I've been here over 40 years, I've heard the argument over and over again, but it honestly feels right now like we've crossed a threshold. There are economic benefits of having a theater complex. I think there's social and cultural benefits, and they're interrelated. I mean, this is something that's really going to bring out the community and change it for the good. arts, it's just really critical for a community to pull together.
You know, I've lived a while, and I've seen a lot of change, almost constant change. And it's my opinion now that the winds of change are blowing again. Things are happening in the cities, large cities to our north, that will make some people want to leave and find a better life elsewhere. So whether we like it or not, more people are coming to Central Florida. Now, the restoration of the Gym Theater will provide an added attraction to the newcomers, but it's also a better quality of life for all of us. So, I think the city officials here in Mulberry and the people of Mulberry should be congratulated for their forward thinking. Like I said, the winds of change are blowing again, and this time they're blowing toward Mulberry.